Hi, so I'm Ingrid Bruynse. I'm the director of Bright Media, and we're very pleased to let you know that we are starting a new ChildPress centre here in Johannesburg. And children from Sacred Heart have been selected to go to the International Press Centre Conference in Amsterdam in April, which is going to be very exciting.
What is the conference about?
So it's a gathering of children who are interested in doing press journalism. So instead of just writing about children, what we're helping is with skills so that children can develop their own resources and that they can actually become journalists, which is really amazing. Actual card-carrying journalists.
Wow. Do you think that they can be able to carry the responsibilities that come with being a journalist and tell their stories?
Absolutely. So this is about child voice. And the question about responsibility is very important. So the learners that we've selected are going to go through a training process, and they're going to understand the journalist code and all sorts of things like fact checking and making sure that they have responsible reporting.
And how were the learners chosen? What was the criteria?
So we opened it up to a number of schools, and the school that was most responsive was Sacred Heart. They had to write a journalism article, they had to do an interview, and they were selected internationally by the head of ChildPress International.
Going to the conference, what are the expectations, or what should the learners expect?
So 5 learners have been accepted. Initially they were only going to choose 2 from South Africa, but the quality of their journalism was so high that they actually wanted to take 5. So it was for younger students because we're looking for people who are going to have a longer career as child journalists. And yeah, the expectations in Amsterdam are actually really quite exciting. They're going to attend a 3-day international workshop and learn how to do profiles and also the formats of journalism. How to actually do news articles, opinion pieces, photojournalism. So there's quite a lot that's going to be packed into a short time.
What type of topics are they going to be looking at, and what type of resources when they come back home are you guys going to provide for them?
So this is really interesting because the topics that they are going to have are totally from their own perspective. So adults are not going to be involved in telling them what topics there are. So the topics come from the children themselves. We want to be inside the kids' heads and find out what they are interested in. And what the adults do is provide the support to make sure that they can have high quality real journalism, and that's the most important thing, is it's a support team. So we give training support, we give format support, and there's a national editorial coordinator who will make sure that the kids are actually writing high quality journalism.
And when the kids come back, are they going to be writing for in-house newspapers, or are they going to be sharing the material with a certain newspapers, or are you partnering with any newspaper?
So this is the starting point, is we start locally. So we start with school community newspapers. So the Sacred Heart newsletter is already carrying some of the children's articles themselves, but then we want to go to local journalism. So that means aspects like Caxton, and we are very interested in partnering with local journalism, but more than that, eventually I think it's going to go national. So we will be approaching newspapers because I think it's time for kids' voices to be heard.
Why was it important to choose specifically kids? Because an adult could help tell the story, but why is it important that you feel that kids should be the ones telling their stories and doing the research?
This is actually according to the national human rights. The aspects of child voice is protected by the United Nations. There are a number of articles that actually talk about the fact that we need to hear from the kids themselves. In fact, the law to do with South Africa and globally actually, the law says that actually we should be hearing children's voices themselves. And it's much more important than talking about children or talking to children. We actually need to empower children to tell their own stories. So this is part of actually the United Nations Human Rights Convention, which says that we actually have to be hearing children.